I'm going to cover this in 3 sections. I'm going to discuss the plugin architecture that Sitecore Experience Commerce is based on. We're going to look at how each of those plugins are based on the concept of pipelines and the extensibility that introduces. And then finally, we're going to look at Sitecore Experience Accelerator, the framework that the storefront which your customers interact with is based on top of, and the extensibility points that provides. So let's look at the plugin architecture. Sitecore Experience Commerce is built on a plugin architecture, which means that we provide a series of core functionality and extension points. And each individual piece of functionality leverages those extension points to build out the functionality that they need. This means that all of the code for the coupons functionality, for example, all exists in one location. So if you want to extend that functionality or customize it to your business needs, you know exactly where to look to find it. When you build completely new features for your storefront, you also build it following this plugin-based architecture, which means that you're extending the engine in the same way we build out the features ourselves. But each of those individual plugins is also customizable itself. The functionality contained within there is based on the concept of a pipeline. And a pipeline is a linear set of executions, all happening in order. Here you can see, for example, we're setting up the add coupon to cart pipeline. And it has a series of what are known as pipeline blocks within it, and each of those are executed in the order you see on screen. The final thing we do once all the executions happened is to save that block back to the database. An interesting thing to note here is we're actually calling 2 other pipelines from within this pipeline. This means that when you build out your custom functionality, you could do this yourself. You can call existing pipelines that are provided out of the box, meaning you don't have to go away and build everything from scratch. You can also extend existing pipelines though. Here's an example of how we're extending the entity view pipeline, and you can inject your custom functionality in between any of the existing blocks to completely customize how the system works. Here you can see we're injecting our custom block after a specific point in the pipeline, meaning that we can hook in anywhere we like during any of the execution flows. Looking more towards the storefront side now, I want to discuss Sitecore Experience Accelerator. This is the framework, as I mentioned, that the storefront is built on, and we recently introduced Scriven, a lightning-fast templating language to really speed up the way which merchandisers, marketers, and anyone working with the system can go ahead and customize the storefront's functionality. And I just want to show you a quick demo of that first. And I'm going to change the layout of each of these panels for the results. What I want to do is, I don't really like that in-stock label hanging just above. I'm going to move that in-stock notifier to appear inside this details panel. So there'll be no details link anymore. That will serve as both the link to the product page and also a stock notifier. So what I've done is I've jumped straight over to the content editor, and we're going to browse and find the Scriven template for that search results control. It exists under our rendering variants section under commerce search results. And if we expand this out, we can see we have a Scriven template stored in here. Now you could edit it directly in the content editor, but personally I find it a bit easier to do this inside some kind of IDE like Visual Studio Code. Once we load this up, we can change our text type to HTML, and then we get some really nice syntax highlighting, making this editing process a lot simpler. So we can see here we have my product stock status label, and we also have my details link here. And I want to replace this text with the stock status text instead. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove that text altogether because I don't want this isn't static text I'm trying to output like the details label. Then I'm going to take the data bind attribute from this label above, and I'm just going to add that to my anchor. Once that's finished, we can remove the empty label from before, and then we can just copy all of this and jump back into the content editor, replace the template details in there, publish the changes. So I've hopped back over to my storefront. I just need to refresh the page, and we can see the content's been updated. The details link now displays my in-stock notification for me. But alongside customizing how the storefront works, we also have functionality that helps the front enders customize how it actually looks as well. We've had the creative exchange as part of SXA for a long time now. This allows you to export your site as raw HTML, JavaScript and CSS, which you can then pass off to your design agency, have them make the changes you require, and then import those changes directly into Sitecore and have them instantly reflected on the storefront. We're now providing guidance on how these front-end developers can combine their creative exchange with the Scriven functionality you just saw, allowing you to get the benefit of combining each of these rich feature sets to give you complete customization control over your storefront.